So what you're going to need to make Superman, you're going to need a pair of embroidery scissors, an embroidery needle, a smaller tapestry needle, a 3.5mm hook, a 4mm hook, a set of pins, stuffing of choice, a little bit of blusher, 5mm eyes, and you're going to need yarn in brown, light pink, black, red, blue and yellow. Okay, so we're going to start with a slip knot onto our hook and we're going to chain 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Then we're going to do a crochet in the second chain from hook. Then we're going to do one crochet, single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2 and 3. And in the last stitch we're going to do 3 single crochet. 1, 2 and 3. So we've now rotated our work and we're going to work along the back side of the foundation chain we made. So I'm going to do 3 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Well, 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2 and 3. And in the last stitch I'm going to do 2 single crochet. So that's 1 and 2. So we now have 12 stitches in the round and we're not going to join and chain 1, we're just going to continue working in the spiral. So we need to go from 12 stitches to 18. So in the first stitch of the next round we're going to do 2 single crochet. So that's 1 and 2. Then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2 and 3. And then in the next 3 stitches we're going to do 2 single crochet into each stitch. So into the first stitch we're going to do 2 single crochet, that's 1 and 2. Into the next stitch we're going to do 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. And into the third stitch we're going to do 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3. And into the last 2 stitches we're going to do 2 single crochet. So into the first stitch we're going to do 1 and 2 single crochet, and into the last stitch we're going to do 1 and 2 single crochet. So we've now got 18 stitches in the round, and for the next 2 rows we're just going to single crochet around repeatedly. So we're going to do 36 single crochets, which is 18 single crochets twice. So I'm coming up to the last couple of stitches on my second round of single crochets. So I've done 2 rounds of single crochet. So this is going to be Spider-Man's foot. What we need to do now is decrease, so we need to decrease from 18 stitches to 14, but we're only going to decrease at the front so that it will decrease and come in to create the toe of his foot. So what we need to do is single crochet 5, so 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together 4 times. So to single crochet them together I'm going to put my hook underneath the front loop only of my first stitch, the front loop only of my second stitch, then I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So I've single crochet 2 stitches together and we need to do that another 3 times. So single crochet 2 together twice. I'm going to do that again. Three times. And 4 times. And then going to single crochet 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we've now got 14 stitches and we want to take it to 12 stitches. So to do that, I'm going to single crochet 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then I'm going to single crochet 2 stitches together twice. So single crochet 2 together once and single crochet 2 together twice. Then I'm going to single crochet 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we've now got Superman's foot made, and if you can see, doing the decreases has meant that only the front of the work is closed in and the back of the work stayed straight. So the next thing we need to do is single crochet around for 5 rounds. So we're going to single crochet in a spiral for 5 rounds, so that's 60 single crochets. Now I've just finished my 5th round of red, and you'll notice that because I'm right-handed, my end point has moved. So if I've counted 60 stitches, my seam has moved and it's moved to the side, and that's normal for a right-hand stitcher. So what I want you to do is just single crochet an extra few stitches so you finish the round at the back of Superman's boot. And the reason for this is we're going to do a colour change, and we want to do it at the back, not the front of the work. So this is my last stitch of red, and I'm going to change to blue whilst I do this stitch. So to change to blue, I'm going to insert my hook into the stitch I want, yarn over in red and pull through. So I've got 2 loops on my hook in red. I can then snip my red yarn and I can bring in my blue. And I'm going to hook the blue onto my hook and pull through the 2 red stitches. And holding the tails in the back into my first stitch, I'm going to do a slip stitch and 1 single crochet. And that's my colour change complete. So all I need to do now is pull my tails tight, and then I'm going to hold them in the back of my work and I'm going to crochet them in as I do the next couple of stitches. So for about 3 stitches, I'm going to make sure I hook the 2 ends in. They'll just save doing weaving in at the end. So there we go. And then I can push my ends into the work. Get them out the way. So now we're going to do 10 rounds of blue. So I'm going to single crochet round 10 times. So I'm just finishing my last round of blue, and again my work has ended, or my seams have moved around the foot again. So we just want to finish the row by working, adding a couple more stitches to work to the back of the work, because we're going to do another colour change back to red. So in the last stitch of blue, we're going to do a colour change, and we're going to insert our hook into the stitch, yarn over in blue and pull up a loop. So we have 2 blue loops on our hook. Going to trim our work and bring my red back in and finish my stitch off in red. And holding the tails in the back into the first stitch, I'm going to do a slip stitch and a single crochet, both in the same stitch. Pull the tails tight. And we're ready to go in red again. So now I'm going to do 2 rows in red. Okay, so that is my second round in red. And what you need to do now is make this foot again. And I've already made my first foot, so this was the second foot I was making. So if it's the first foot you're making, fasten and join off. But if it's the second foot, we want to leave our work attached. The first thing we're going to do is stuff the foot. So we want to get our polyfill or your yarn ends, whatever you're using, and you want to stuff your foot completely. Okay, so I've stuffed my foot, and now we're going to join our 2 feet together. Now to join our feet, on the first foot that we have, the one that's, well, the second foot we made, but the one attached to our yarn, we're going to single crochet all the way round to the left hand side. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's 8 stitches. So we're at the middle of the left hand side. We're then going to loosely chain 1, and we can bring in our second foot, and on the right hand side of our second foot we're going to find a middle stitch, and we can insert our hook into that stitch and yarn over and finish a single crochet. So the 2 legs are now joined via a chain 1 stitch. So what we're going to do to complete this round is, not including the stitch we've just single crocheted into, so there's 12 stitches on this leg, we're going to single crochet around 11 stitches. So that's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So we've now come to the chain 1 stitch that we've made, and we're going to single crochet into that 1/2 of the chain 1 that we made. So I'm going to insert my hook into the chain 1 stitch on one side, and I'm going to single crochet 1. And then on the second leg, not including the stitch that we did a chain 1 from, we're going to single crochet around the remaining 11 stitches. So there's 12 stitches on this leg, but we've used one to chain 1 from, so we're going to single crochet in just the remaining 11. So that's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. And then to finish this round, all we need to do is single crochet into the opposite side of the chain 1 stitch that we single crocheted in previously. And that is our 2 legs joined. All we're going to do now for 4 rounds is single crochet around repeatedly. So we now have 24 stitches. We had 11 stitches from each leg, which made 22. And then we had the chain 1 stitch in the middle, which we crocheted either side, which makes 24 stitches. So we're going to single crochet round for 4 rows. So I've just finished my 4 rounds, and we've got 24 stitches, and now we want to reduce them to 20 stitches. We want to give Superman a nice slim waist so that when we grow his chest it looks extra muscly. So to do this, we're going to single crochet 4 and then single crochet 2 together, and we're going to do that 4 times. So we're going to single crochet 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to single crochet 2 together. Single crochet 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then single crochet 2 together. Single crochet 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and our last single crochet 2 together. So we now have 20 stitches. We're going to do a colour change now, but I don't want to do it at the front of my work, so I'm going to single crochet round to the back of the work, and then we're going to chain back to blue. So we're just moving the area of where we're going to do our colour change. He will be wearing a belt, so we won't see the colour change, but it's just nice to keep everything neat. Okie doke. So this is my last stitch in red, and then I'll be right at the very back. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull through in red. I'm going to do a colour change to blue. There we go. Now I'm going to do 2 complete rounds of blue, so single crochet around for 40 stitches, so that's twice round with our blue. Okay, so that was my second round of blue, and we're going to increase now from 20 stitches back to 24 stitches, and we're going to do this by doing an increase in every multiple of 6. So we're going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 5 and 6. We're going to single crochet 7 and 8, 9 and 10, and 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 11 and 12. Single crochet 13 and 14 and 15 and 16, and 2 single crochet in the next stitch for 17 and 18, and single crochet for 19 and 20, 21, 22, and 2 single crochet in the next stitch, 23 and 24. So again, we're just going to do 1 round of single crocheting around for 24 stitches. So we're now going to increase from 24 to 30 stitches, and we're going to do this by increasing on every multiple of 5. So we're going to single crochet 3 stitches and do 2 single crochets in the following stitch, and we're going to do that 6 times. So we're going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, and 2 single crochet in the next stitch, 4 and 5. Then we're going to single crochet 6, 7, 8, and 2 single crochet into the next stitch, 9 and 10, and then single crochet 11, 12, 13, and 2 single crochet in the next stitch for 14 and 15, single crochet 16, 17, 18, and 2 stitches in the next stitch for 19 and 20, single crochet 21, 22, 23, and 2 single crochets in the next stitch for 24, 25, and single crochet 26, 27, 28, and 2 single crochets in the next stitch for 29 and 30. So we're going to single crochet around again, just all the way around for 30 stitches. And as you notice, my seams are travelling again, they're travelling to the right. So always correct that at the beginning of a round when you notice it by just doing a couple of extra stitches to bring you back to the centre point. So single crochet around for 1 round. So I've now single crocheted around for 30 stitches, and we're going to increase again from 30 stitches to 36. And we're going to do this by increasing on every multiple of 6. So we're going to single crochet 4 stitches, then we're going to do 2 single crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to do that 6 times. So we're going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, and increase in the next stitch for 5 and 6, single crochet 7, 8, 9 and 10, and increase in the next stitch for 11 and 12, single crochet 13 and 14, 15 and 16, and increase in the next stitch for 17 and 18, single crochet 19, 20, 21, 22, and increase in the next stitch for 23, 24, then single crochet 25, 26, 27, 28, and increase in the next stitch for 29 and 30. Then single crochet 31, 32, 33, 34, and increase in the next stitch for 35 and 36. So now we're going to single crochet around for 4 rows. So 36 stitches around for 4 rows. So I've now finished my 4 rows and I'm going to decrease from 36 to 30 stitches. And I'm going to do that by single crocheting 4 and then single crocheting 2 together. And we're going to do that 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and decrease for 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, and decrease for 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, and decrease for 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, and decrease for 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, and decrease for 25. 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Okay, so now we need to decrease from 30 stitches to 24. And we're going to do that by single crocheting 3 and then single crocheting 2 together. And we're going to do that 6 times. So we're decreasing on all the multiples of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and decrease on 4. Then we've got 5, 6, 7, and decrease on 8. 'Single crochet 9, 10, 11, and decrease on 12. Single crochet 13, 14, 15, and decrease on 16. Single crochet 17, 18, 19, and decrease on 20. And then single crochet for 21, 22, 23, and decrease on 24. So now we need to decrease from 24 stitches to 18, and to do that we're going to decrease on all the multiples of 3. So we're going to single crochet 2 and then single crochet 2 together, and we're going to do that 6 times. So single crochet 1, 2, and decrease for 3. Single crochet 4, 5, and decrease for 6. Single crochet 7 and 8, decrease for 9. Single crochet 10, 11, and decrease for 12. Single crochet 13 and 14, and decrease for 15. Single crochet 16, 17, and decrease for 18. Now we've still got one more decrease round, but I'm going to stuff him before this hole gets too small. So I'm going to pull my loop up, and then with my polyfill, I'm going to stuff him.